Okay, so in this video, I'm going to show you how to put together the hydrangea tray, and we're going to start by assembling one of the little boxes. Now each box is made up of, well, this piece here. This is the main piece here. So I want to go ahead and just get our tabs nice and folded over. Then you can begin shaping the box by bending it at the score lines, okay? And what we're gonna do, okay, so we've got everything folded. Now the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna put your panels on, okay? So there are a total of 4 panels, one for each side. Doesn't matter which one you put where, because each side is the same. So just make sure that you get those all glued down, okay? And of course, we have included the caption Mom, and we've also substituted the O with a U so that you can make one that says Mum. So you want to go ahead and get that all glued into place like so. We actually inked ours, the edges of the panels, so you're welcome to do that if you'd like. And once you have your panels in place, you can go ahead and close up the box, okay? And we're going to do that by simply taking and gluing this tab here to the inside, and I'm doing this flat, which is fine. It actually helps with alignment, makes it easier to apply pressure and to ensure that you've got a nice fit, because if it folds flat, you know you've got it in the right spot. So just make sure that that gets glued down and gets a really good hold. Okay, and you can open it up, and you're going to take these tabs, fold them down, place glue on all 3, and it sort of helps when you push that down to have these anchored up a little bit, so as you're pushing down they grab more surface area. So hold that in place for just a few seconds while it gets its initial grip, and then when it does, you can flip it over and push down from the inside to make sure that it gets an even better grip. Okay. Very simple box, goes together real quick. And now here is the little lid portion of your little box. Okay, so you're just gonna fold these at the score lines here. And then you also have these little pieces here, and you're simply going to glue those together like so. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Just put a little ring of glue around that little hole there, and just grab its little neighbor there and just hold that in place until it gets a good hold. Okay, and you're going to repeat that process all the way around. And at this point it would help to make sure that you are folding these pieces in. Okay, so again, just going to place glue on that little tab and press and hold until it gets a nice grip. Now I can already see these being really cute wedding favors too if you do them all in white. You can even take the panels, cut them out in white, and emboss them like we did with our Cascade cards. So these actually would complement the Cascade cards really well. Okay, and the last one here. Here we go. Just press and hold that until it gets a nice hold. Okay. And as you can see, fits right on there. Okay, so you've got your cute little box. Now what we did, as you can see here, we've got the next piece here is the leaves from the hydrangea. And we actually inked this, okay? And after you ink it and it's all dried, kind of took the leaves and trained them like so, so that they're kind of hunched over. And you can do more, you can do less, it's up to you. Okay, and that's going to get glued down like so, so that each of the leaves is kind of going over each little corner. Okay, so you can glue that into place. And then the next thing we did actually was the flowers themselves. Now there's 30 flowers for each one. So I'm not going to show you all 30, but we did, in fact, take and inked both sides, and then basically took and just kind of creased them like so. Okay, you see how we did that there? Okay, and also kind of bent them in. So we're kind of creasing them at the tips and also bending each little petal in. Okay, and again, we're doing this after we've inked the flower. Okay. Now, you could technically glue these down and then add some sort of embellishment if you want to the center, but what we found was that using these little pearlized pins actually made the job a lot easier. So those go right in the center. They're wide enough to where they hold it in place. And what we did to anchor all of these flowers was we took, pardon the sound here, we took the styrofoam ball and cut it in half, okay? And then we painted it with a apple green paint. Let me show you what we got here. This is an acrylic paint, and we put about one or two, actually I think 2 or 3 layers on there just to make sure that it got a good hold. And let me show you what this looks like. So as you can see, you're simply going to take your pin just like that and pop it right into the styrofoam ball, okay? And we did take and hot glue this onto the top, because when you cut the styrofoam ball, it tends to be uneven and regular glue doesn't really hold very well. So we did take hot glue to affix that to the top of the box, okay? So that takes care of the box, the flowers, and again, you can really just have a lot of fun with inking. With ours, we actually took 2 different colors of inks, ran some of the color in the middle, and then in this case, a pink around the edges here. Go on Google and do a search for hydrangeas and take a look at, how they look in nature and try to mimic that the best you can with your inks. Okay, so that takes care of the box. Now let's show you how the tray goes together. And that is also very simple. It doesn't have that many pieces. So we're going to show you how that works here. Okay, so our tray, very simple. We've got the front side, the back side, the 2 sides. Here's a little liner that goes on top. And then you've got these 2 pieces. If you look really close on one of them here, you'll see that there is, in fact, the letter L that's kind of cut into the paper with score lines. Now this is the liner piece. It's just a tiny, tiny bit smaller, but it does have a little L to indicate that it's a liner. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble this thing, and it's actually pretty straightforward. You're going to take and just get everything kind of bent into shape. Now this thing appears to be like 3-dimensional. I mean, it is 3-dimensional, but we've created this lip, but the lip is just this piece here. Okay, so this is the bottom, just like that. Okay, so let's just get everything kind of bent and ready. I'm probably gonna unbend it here in just a second, but it always helps to kind of get these things trained and ready to perform their jobs. So just bend everything at the score lines and then kind of unbend it. And it just helps it take form that much easier. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna begin constructing the base of it, or just the frame of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put some glue on this tab here, and I've got it nice and aligned here. Just gonna flatten that over as far as the tab goes, and actually flip it over this way and just make sure that these 2 pieces are nice and aligned, just like that. Now you can do this in a different way if you want. I just kind of prefer to do things like this when they're flat. It helps with alignment, it helps with the glue drying faster and kind of holding. Okay, So that is kind of what that needs to look like. And then again, this little piece here is going to get glued under this piece here to help kind of form that lip. Okay, so we're going to do that in just a bit. The next thing we want to do is we want to grab this piece here and do the same thing. So you're going to glue that into place like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, flatten it out this way, grab this piece and glue it like this. Okay, so we're going to put glue on this tab here. And just make sure that you get that nice and aligned. Okay. Just hold that down. Make sure that it dries. Okay. And as you can see, we've got our little tray starting to form here. Okay, so we can go ahead and close this thing up. And we're going to do that. Kind of helps to get this thing somewhat formed so that you have an idea of how this thing goes together. Now this last piece, again, this is the bottom is shorter, okay? So we're going to take this tab here and this tab here and glue that right there. And then the other side is going to get glued right there. Okay, so just going to align these like so. And I'll put glue right there. Okay, get that tab in place. And finally, we're going to close this up by gluing this piece right there. We're going to close this up by gluing these pieces together here. Just make sure that you've got everything nice and aligned. So go ahead and put glue there and glue this in place like so. Okay, so we've got the basic formation of our tray here. And now we want to take these end pieces and tuck them under these side pieces. We're going to place glue on these little tabs here. So we're going to put glue on this little tab here, and then put glue on this little tab here. And I'm just going to take and glue those pieces in place like so. And just hold that until it's nice and dry. Okay. Now as you're doing that, you may want to start kind of bending this down a little bit because it has a tendency to want to kind of curl up to the sky, which is fine. Okay. So just make sure that gets a good grip, and you're going to repeat that same process on the other side here. So we're going to put glue on that little tab there and glue on that little tab there, and just press and hold that down, as well as the other side. I'm kind of doing two at a time here. Hopefully you can see that. Okay. And now, what I'd actually recommend doing is grabbing the liner, because that is going to help us put the bottom on, since this is kind of a fragile item at this point. So I'm going to put glue on these tabs in here. And it's okay if you go crazy with this glue too much, or go too crazy with the glue, because we're going to cover up the bottom. So if something does leak out, it's not a big deal. And just slide the liner in and do your best to center it. Okay. Now if you want, you can actually take this piece that I just put in here and put it on top of some chipboard and use that as a template to cut out an even thicker piece to make this sturdier. Or you can cut this piece out a couple times if you'd like to make it even more sturdy. And then what you're going to do next is you're going to place glue on this whole thing here. Okay, make sure that you get the glue out to the edge so that it looks nice and finished. And then put glue on the entire piece here. And we're going to put the bottom on. The bottom should fit beautifully. Okay, you might have to kind of nudge the little pieces in here and there. Okay, and then you can flip it over and push down from the inside. And then finally, we have this little liner piece. It's going to get glued just like that. Okay, so that takes care of the construction of the actual tray. And all that's left to do is glue the little embellishments, or the little panels. Okay, so you've got two of these, one for the front and back. You've got two of the heart-shaped ones that go right on the side. And then we also have these little fasteners that get glued on the corners. And that also kind of helps with the stability of this piece. So that's pretty much it for the Hydrangea tray. Stay on top of all things Dreaming Tree and engage with us today. Get the latest news and enter in our giveaways on Facebook. Get inspired by following us on Pinterest. Be the first to see our new product launches on Instagram. Do you prefer Twitter? Yep, we're there too. Watch our beautiful product trailers and assembly tutorials on YouTube. For more information, visit www.3dsvg.com. Live, craft, love, and dream.